hopefully I am in frame. I have no idea. This is going to probably be all over the place because spirit is all over the place. I'm getting like various and sundry impressions all day today. The main premise of this video today is about death and dying, because I'm witnessing increasingly that, you know, to put it in a nutshell, people are petrified of death. I personally, because of what I've gone through, am not at all afraid of being dead, because we never die. The atheists will argue this. But I know what I know, and I know what I've experienced. Now, what I am afraid of is how I die. I don't want to suffer. In my family line, I have relatives who've, had very slow, horrendous deaths from serious diseases, but I also have one grandmother who was seemingly totally fine, went to sleep one night and didn't wake up. That's the way to do it, by the way, which is what my friend Edie had happen last month. Wow, wait a minute. Hold on. Hold that thought. Okay, I thought Edie was hanging around today. And I think she is. I told you this is going to be like all over the place, because I meant to talk more about death, but seeing musical notes. Oh, wow. Okay. I wasn't planning on this just being like a reading here. Okay, wait, Edie, can you hold on? I'll let you speak. Just hold on a second. Sorry, this happens. I want to give a little backstory before I go on. My friend Edie passed away unexpectedly last month in her sleep. She was very metaphysically spiritual, was a seeker, and her best friend Carolyn is a very gifted medium and trance channel. You know, I'm a medium and channel friend of hers, although I had not talked to her that regularly the past couple of years. But ever since Edie passed, she's been very aggressive about coming through to both Carolyn and me. And I have a strong feeling she wants to work with the two of us doing stuff now that she's on the other side. But, okay, where was I going with this? Well, anyway, there's been a lot of stuff coming. Edie's been very clearly coming through to Carolyn and me. Carolyn actually felt her presence in the room weeks ago, and Edie touched her and stuff. And I've been hearing very dramatic noises and things, and had some other stuff happen. But, oh, I know what it is. So, sorry. So Carolyn emailed me, and she said that she has this song stuck into her head really bad. And it's a classical song, and she knew that Edie loved classical music, which I did not know, actually. And all of a sudden, Tchaikovsky, pops into my head. And I'm not a Tchaikovsky person. I'm actually not that much of a classical music person, but if I was going to listen to classical music, Pachelbel's, I can't pronounce it, Canon in D is my favorite classical song ever. Makes me cry every single time I hear that song. And I really like Mozart and some Beethoven. That's like my people. But Tchaikovsky pops into my head, and I didn't even know what he wrote, so I had to go online and like Google him. And Swan Lake popped up first thing. And because Carolyn didn't know the music that she was hearing. She was trying to identify it, and she doesn't know classical that well, so she was, trying to figure it out. And I think she even hummed into a phone or something and to see if they could identify the melody, and it didn't work initially. So I sent her, I go, well, Tchaikovsky popped into my head, and I think I sent her a link to Swan Lake, actually. And she just emailed me back a few minutes ago going, I love Swan Lake. So it's like it's one of her favorite songs. So I don't think that is an accident, and I do think that was Edie sending her something. So she just emailed me again, because she's, and I get this. She's obsessively trying to figure out the song. I mean, that's what I would do too. I'm like, I gotta figure, what is the song I'm hearing? So she just figured it out. She does think it's a specific Mozart melody, and she sent me a link to what she found on YouTube that she thinks it is. And I have to go, well, good choice. Love the song, And she feels that it's Edie's way of, because it's a very kind of upbeat, energetic song, and, she thinks it's Edie's way of lifting her spirits, because, she just lost her best friend, so it's hard. And then back to Carolyn and Edie. Well, some of this started before Edie, actually, but I think Edie's chiming in. Okay, now she she just said yes. Okay, we hear you. When I don't have cable TV, I just use rabbit ears. I'm cheap. I don't have to ever pay for television. So I have whatever I can pick up with the rabbit ears and a high definition TV, or whatever I can watch for free on YouTube and stuff. But on one of my free, it's not Me TV. I want to say it's Star TV. I think it's that channel. Every time I turn this channel on, and they have other shows, I swear to God, I land on either old episodes of The Ghost Whisperer or Medium. Doesn't matter what time of the day I turn this channel on, that's one of those two shows is on. Occasionally a detective show, but usually it's those two. So a couple of days ago, I got bored with my limited free TV options here, so I hooked up my old Roku TV thingy-do, and hooked it up to my Wi-Fi, launched it, and what shows up first on my Roku? Medium. A picture of Patricia Arquette with her hair in like the best style she had. And I'm like, okay, this is just, Spirit's annoying, because I've been feeling very strongly that I need to stop avoiding my real work. Because I've been turning down readings and everything because it's so stressful for me to do them. But it's becoming increasingly clear that I need to start doing more of my real work and phase myself out of administrative type work. But, so I thought, okay, let me watch Medium. And I had no idea, where in the series it would show me, because the show was on for quite a few years. And it was actually the very first episode of the show years ago. And because it was the first episode, and, I don't know if you know about the show Medium, but it's based on a real person, Alison Dubois, who lives in Arizona. who is a real psychic medium, and it's her, it's kind of her life story, but part of it's also fictionalized. But it's based on her life. And in the first episode, she's pursuing becoming a lawyer and has, no interest in doing woo-woo work. And, but, increasingly these mediumistic psychic things start happening to her, and like very aggressively, and she can't ignore it, and she's clearly being forced into other type of work that she's going, no, I don't want to do that. I want to just live my life and be normal, and and her husband didn't, accept it easily and all this stuff. And it was just funny because that's like exactly where I'm at right now. Spirit wants me to do the woo-woo. And I'm like, no, I like stable income with a 401k and health insurance, and, it's easier. So that was the message too. And now where it gets a little weirder even is, I didn't know if Carolyn had ever watched that show or ever thought about it, because the show was on years ago now, in the mid 2000s. I took a screenshot of it and sent it to Carolyn and told her about what's been going on, where every time I turn on the TV, either the Ghost Whisperer or Medium's on, even though I don't have paid television. And the next day, I didn't hear back from her initially. And then I think it was yesterday, she emails me and she goes, I just love these stories. I hope you do too. So she emails me and she goes, did you ever watch the show Medium? I have all the episodes on DVD. It's about this woman, and this medium in Arizona, and blah blah blah. And I responded and I go, Carolyn, I emailed you that show last night, and I looked it up. It's 7:24 p.m. my time. I sent you an email about that show. But she hadn't seen it. She had to actually open up check her emails, go and look, and there it was. And it's like, okay, this is weird. So, I'm getting a hit. And I have to tell Carolyn this. Because Edie's hitting me. It's Edie. Because I have been feeling, because Edie's been so aggressive in spirit, I have been feeling that she wants to work with me and Carolyn and get us both to be doing the work that we're supposed to be doing, because neither one of us is a kid, and time is flying. And Edie just said yes. So Edie's creating this recent synchronicities and stuff, trying to say, hello, do your real work, you two. But with me now, the medium and the Ghost Whisperer stuff started a little just before Edie passed away, actually, and then it's picked up since then. But okay, she's doing this. Okay, Edie's doing this, but I got totally sidetracked, as I told you. I warned you I would. So, what I mostly wanted to actually talk about is death. So, I think everybody wants, nobody wants to suffer. I think everybody hopes for a quick, painless death, like my grandmother and, what Edie had happened. So I am a little nervous about how I die. I'm going to be, I'm human. I don't want to have anything really awful happen, be it. And I will say that for years before I had an out-of-body experience, I logically believed that this is just clothing and that we live on, in theory I understood understood that. I believed it. But still, it's human nature to be a little afraid, and question until it happens to you. And all the people online who talk about their near-death experiences, who now know, it's not believe, not think, not feel, it's this is just clothing, and that you do live on. The you that you know is you lives on. Until it happens to you, it's really hard to believe it. I get that. I started I had some out-of-body experiences that I remember. I probably had them before that, but that I remember in the mid to later 90s that were triggered by healing sessions with Dr. Eric Pearl, where I went out into the middle of the universe through a tube and was talking to beings, and they showed me a star cluster that was my real home and all that stuff. But for some reason, that I was clearly out of my body, but I didn't totally understand that I was for some reason. I don't know why. I will say it was in the year 2000 when I was pushed out of my body, I have to say pushed. In the year 2000, when I was under hypnosis for past life regression, that was the first time I ever channeled. And these two groups of beings decided they wanted to speak through me while I was under deep hypnosis. But it was the first time where I was aware, I really understood that the me that I know as me was outside my body. I'm going to say I don't know if I'm still on camera, but I was over here somewhere, where my body was over here on the table. At first, it was really weird. It's a very strange sensation to be you, but elsewhere. And my thoughts were clearly the typical thoughts I would have. My emotions were any kind of, my typical emotional response to things. Intellect was the same. I mean, it was me, that I know is me, but over here. I had absolutely no control over my physical body and what was going on the table with a couple of feet next to me. So I have to say, it was like, this is weird. This is very disorientating. But then, I understood, and I'm like, this is cool. This is cool. And then, of course, I had questions for the two groups because it wasn't just two beings, it was two groups of beings that were using my body to speak to the hypnotherapist through. I wanted to ask a bunch of questions. My curiosity totally took over, and I'm like, ooh, Mr. Cotter, with my hand up, I have questions, but I couldn't interrupt them. I was totally kind of helpless. But it didn't last that long, but that brief experience convinced me. This is not I think this to be true, I want to have faith that this is it. It is reality. So I am not remotely afraid of being dead, because we're never really dead. I strongly feel you should not take your life prematurely. Although, there's those who argue and say, well, suicide then is your soul's choice to do, and blah, 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 blah. But I do think that is blunting your lessons. There's a reason why, and I have suicide in my family. So this is personal to me. the problem is, when you end your life voluntarily like that, you're blunting some kind of lesson or growth experience that you're going to have to learn eventually. So you're going to come back and have to go through it again to learn whatever it is you need to learn and get through it. I'm sorry, I'm just thinking about, I had a cousin who ended his life at age 18. So, suffering is real. No one should ever be judged for being in that much pain. But I do fully believe that those who go through living HELL, they are especially strong souls. They are usually extra sensitive human beings who are gifts to us. They're here for a really good reason, and it's very sad when one leaves early. Some of the people who have added so much to this world have had really difficult lives that I wouldn't have wanted to have. But what blessings these people have been. Everybody incarnates for a really important reason. There are no unimportant people. And I'm sorry, I'm just getting all mushy, but that's truth. I don't want to leave stuff out, but this is getting to be too long. Oh, I know. Well, this is an out of body experience that also, convinced me that this is not just me here. This was years ago. I was still in the getting over person I had fallen really hard for situation. And one night, and I didn't do this intentionally. I don't remember trying to do it intentionally. But I think because there were so many energetic cords connecting us still at that point, and I was still in grief about him, that I just, when I went to sleep one night, I left my body, flew to his house, and I can still kind of see it, actually. I was, if you were facing his house, I was standing on the left side of the driveway as he pulled up in his car with a very distinct female next to him. I'm not going to give descriptions because I don't want to give away anything. But it did later turn out that what I saw during that out-of-body experience as I witnessed them come home and found out that he was, clearly, with someone else, they did later get married. So, and that the woman that he married is the woman that I saw in the car. So I was clearly out of my body at that point to see all this stuff. But I also remember just kind of standing at the left side of his driveway, just watching him. They got home from somewhere late at night and pulled up and, went into the house. So what I'm getting at is, this is long. And the thing is, I have people who are, in my family who believe in God, are religious, but yet petrified that death is the end. And I can't convince them that, you don't need to be afraid of being out of your physical body. You're still going to be you. It's not the end. There's not just some black void that is nothingness. That is it. It's just the end. And I know, once again, the atheists will argue. But I'm going to say to all the atheists, you'll find out the truth. I know what I know. I know what I've witnessed. I was not on drugs. I don't do drugs. And I'm not the only one. There are plenty of people who can attest to what they experienced. Now, I'm not saying I believe in, in that heaven that some people believe in. I think it's a little different than that. I mean, actually, this one out-of-body experience that I had that was very awesome. All I remember now is I was out in this beautiful, huge field of flowers and greenness and prettiness, and there were hundreds, if not thousands, of animals around me. I am an animal lover, so this makes sense. Kind of in a St. Francis of Assisi way, there's a reason why I resonate to him. I was touching cats and dogs and sheep and, whatever it was I was touching. I would touch these animals in a field and heal them on the other side. So that was still so powerful and vivid. It's still in I can still see it clearly. And before going quickly, okay, Edie's still here. I think, I need to end this, but so I'll let Edie chat later on because I think she's going to be hanging around for a while. But when my friend Susan passed away years ago, she actually came to me through another medium. And one of the things that she said to me in spirit, and this was so Susan, if you knew Susan, when she was describing what it's like to be dead, she and I could practically hear her voice saying this. It was like, it's like being on a permanent vacation. I mean, she was very happy, and this is somebody who did not have an easy passing. She was sick with cancer for at least 2 years, if not longer. So hearing Susan say heaven is like being on a permanent vacation, because those are words Susan would use, because she traveled a lot and loved Hawaii especially. It's just a little confirmation. Any little confirmations add up to finally you get to the point where you just know that there's more than this. That being said, you're here for a reason. Don't leave us too soon. So, on that note, I need to end this video for today. Take care, and bye-bye.